For more on this, Matt Sapaula joins us from Chicago. He's the financial coach and host of the Money Smart Show podcast. Welcome to our show, Matt. Let me ask you this. A lot of people worry about retirement, and there's been a lot of changes, but let me start with the age difference. It seems like, it might be true, that people have to wait a lot longer to retire than they did before. What is the age difference in countries now?
You know, in Turkey, you can retire as early as 45. In Greece and Italy, you can retire at in your late 50s. In countries like France, China, and Australia, we're looking at the early 60s. So it varies country to country, which creates those different problems.
Is there a program that we should look at and say, look, this is a good program, this really works, everyone seems really happy, it pays for itself? Which program in the world is a model program?
You know, China is reacting because they're seeing what United States is facing. You know, people in the United States born in 1960, their retirement age got pushed to 67 years old. So their early retirement age was 50 months. There's 60 months there that there's a gap there between when they can have an early retirement and a full retirement according to Social Security. So many countries are reacting. And to answer your question, what program? My personal opinion, everyone has their own program. Everybody has to come up with their own program, because they're looking at government, they're looking at government companies, they're dropping a ball on money they're taking away from our paychecks, and they're dropping a ball on the promise that they've made us in terms of what we have at retirement.
The problem with the promises is that it made the assumption that most of us would still be working and the demographics in the world would ultimately not change over the decades to come. But we know that's not true because the demographics has changed. People are having less kids, and that's causing a problem if you look towards the future programs, and they come to promises. China is an example. There's a labor shortage now, possibly in the future, where there will be less people working for those who are retired. We have the same problem in the U.S., the same problem in Japan, the same problems happening in Europe. How are you going to account for this, and how do we solve this problem?
You know, there really is no quick fix. You know, I just here in the state of Illinois, just talked to the senator of the 20th district right after they passed the pension reform bill the night before in Springfield, Illinois. I asked her, what is the fix? And her fix is, listen, many people like Illinois, they have inherited a $100 billion pension problem. There is no quick fix. What the quick fix can be more people taking personal responsibility in financial education and understanding how do I properly manage my finances, because it's either I take my plan or I take the government plan. If I'm going to put control in somebody's hands, personally for me, I'd rather take control in my own hand. Therefore, the issue there is, the opportunity is more people need to get involved in their own personal finances and taking personal responsibility in it.
I have been told by many people I simply do not have enough money to retire, and I do not have enough time to make the money to retire. If I'm 45, 50 years old and I'm looking for retirement in the next 10 or 15 years and I haven't done a good job in saving, what do we do?
The reality is you've got to push that retirement age to 70, 75. I mean, the joke is that 70 is the new 65 or 80 is the new 70, right? So the reality is that people have to live longer, because if pensions have dropped their ball in terms of what they promised to pay, government Social Security is pushing retirement age to a later date. The only reality is two things. Number one, people live longer, or they raise taxes. They raise taxes to fix the gaps in the problem in the promise to pay. So two options is either A, you either shrink your dreams in terms of retirement, or B, make more money or find ways to increase your cash flow, or to find ways to be more entrepreneurial, ways to be more marketable. And that not necessarily means getting more education either. It's using your self-learning to create opportunities for it, not necessarily going back and getting more in student loan and college debt.
Unfortunately, the hard reality comes in: either make more money or cut back on spending, and it's a tough retirement to consider. Matt, thank you very much for joining us live from Chicago on how to retire.